So it's a Theatre Jacksonville event that's so highly anticipated. They actually needed a larger venue to accommodate the big crowd they anticipate. For only one night, Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of New York Times bestseller Eat, Pray, Love, will be speaking here on the First Coast in April. She's talking about her latest book, which ties in perfectly to the Theatre Jacksonville mission to the community. And here to tell us more about it all, we welcome Theatre Jack's Executive Director, Sarah Boone. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for having me today. It's good to see you.
We are glad you're here. So for those who may not be familiar with the book, or maybe they didn't see the Julia Roberts movie, whatever the case may be, tell us more about Elizabeth Gilbert and why she's coming and why it's particularly so exciting that she's coming here to the First Coast.
Well, you did mention that she wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and that just shot her to the top of the success, poll. And she's written a book called Big Magic. This is her latest book, and it's about creative living and choosing to live creatively despite your fear, and having curiosity and choosing joy. And I think that's a good message right now, especially with
Yes.
correct. So, this has been planned for a long time, but it does fit our times. And I got to see her speak a few months ago, and she was pretty incredible and motivational, and she's a hero of mine. And I got a chance to chat with her, and she's one of the most authentic people that you're going to meet. You read her book, and what comes out of her mouth is what's in the book. So I came back and I decided that this would be a really terrific thing for Jacksonville, because she hasn't been here before.
That's
No,
great.
exactly.
That's great.
And our mission at the theater is to enrich lives and broaden cultural understanding through community participation in theater arts. And when we do that, we're providing a nurturing and safe place for people to reach their creative goals. So what she says fits with our mission, so she's going to be our speaker for our benefit.
There you go,
Yeah,
drop the mic and
indeed,
lead. So you guys needed a bigger venue. Where was it originally scheduled to be at?
Well, when I was negotiating, we realized that our 300-seat venue in San Marco, which is the lovely historic
So
place,
beautiful.
yes, it is,
Such
it's
a great
gorgeous,
theater.
where we do everything, is not quite big enough. She has 1.6 followers, 1.6 million followers on Facebook. She's an
you're gonna need
internationally
a
known
bigger
artist,
place.
right?
We're gonna
So
need a
we,
bigger
I called my friend Numa Seslin at the Florida Theater. He is a partner with us, and we found a date, and it worked with her schedule. So we're going to be at the Florida Theater, which is the other historic theater in
So beautiful
Jacksonville.
there
I'm
too. You
so
can't
excited.
go wrong.
No,
either
exactly.
place, either venue.
So
That's really
we're very,
amazing.
very excited
and this
about
is also the Theatre Jack's annual benefit.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
So when you're buying a ticket for this, you are supporting our mission and our services to the community.
Wow. And so, okay, you said about Big Magic. This is her new book. This is what she's come out with since probably, that Eat, Pray, Love was like one of the biggest
blockbuster.
blockbusters.
Yeah.
How are we thinking that this book is going to do?
Well, it's already doing well. It's already, this is the second year, I think, of her book tour.
Okay.
It follows up on Eat, Pray, Love, because she talks about finding the jewels inside you, and having curiosity lead you to find out what those are in your life. And you could be an artist, you could be a writer, you could be anything, and it doesn't have to be the traditional creative thing, but everybody has something, and if you really go in and find what's in your soul, then you're going to be a happier person. And I really believe that. I've spent my whole life in theater and the arts, and so it's a no-brainer for me. But I think that the people who were in the audience that maybe didn't know her really walked away from it, moved, and it's a wonderful hour. Really is.
So is it like a motivational lecture, or what will people get out of it?
It motivates you. I'm not going to say it's a motivational lecture, but she talks about her journey in her life, and how she's gone through her ups and downs, and she's gone through depressions and highs and lows, and how do you deal with that? One of the big things is that Eat, Pray, Love changed her life.
Oh,
right?
yeah. She changed a lot of people's lives.
Right,
actually.
it did. Right here, right. And she was a working writer, but she also had other jobs, that bread and butter jobs, and all of a sudden she was supported by her art, and she talks about that transition for herself and how she had to grasp it.
True.
It came true.
It's like, be careful what you wish for. You could get it, but then
how do you deal with it afterwards?
Yes,
and she's moved into actually speak. She does lots of TED Talks, and she has lots of speaking tours, and she wants to share. I spoke with her and I said, what do you think about generosity? And she goes, that's one of my favorite words. words. And she goes, I believe artists should be generous, generous with everyone because we all learn from each other. So.
Listen, before you go, we want to ask you just about Theatre Jackson in general. What do you guys have coming up? What are the shows to look forward to?
We have a show tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday matinee closes called The Games Afoot, and we have a one-night show coming up as part of our Guerrilla series called The Dozen Divas.
What's the Guerrilla series?
It's a secondary series that we sort of throw in through our main stage when we have a night that's open. And my friend Dorothy Bishop, who's from Jacksonville, who lives in New York, has put together a tribute show where she is a dozen divas on stage for everybody
that's
from
great.
Barbara to Liza.
Oh, that's
and
great.
She's hysterical and she sings, and that's December 3rd. So that's coming up, and then the rest of our main stage season starts with Peter and the Starcatcher in January, which is another
That's gonna be
really cool thing. So
I did a few shows back in,
Yes, you
back in
did.
the day at Theatre
Yes.
Jacks. So much
Yes.
fun. Such a great venue. Very exciting.
well, we are-
Awesome. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us, and everything that's upcoming. It's just such an exciting time for you guys.
It is. We're very thrilled, and thank you again for having me today.
Absolutely.
So, it's
Well, listen,
always fun.
Yeah, for ticket information, if anyone's interested, and I know there are plenty of people who are, they've got a bigger venue to support
Yes,
you all.
please, buy tickets. They're on sale now.
Yes, on sale now. Elizabeth Gilbert live on stage Tuesday, April 25th. You can call the Florida Theater Ticket Office. The number is there on your screen, 904-355-2787, or you can purchase tickets online at floridatheater.com.